dealt and you go with it. So it looks like it's going to rain on and off today, and that's fine. We're not going to change our plans. We're going to head out on this adventure and enjoy ourselves come what may. Guys, listen, I am getting better at making those homemade biscuits. Got up this morning, started getting my stuff together, fed the animals, and came back inside and made another batch of those homemade biscuits. Man, they were so good. They were light and fluffy, and they had that little bit of saltiness on the top of them. Put a little butter on there today and some grape jelly. It was a jam up breakfast. Okay, so we've made it to our parking location. Fortunately, I have a customer who lives right here, who was gracious enough to allow me to park my truck at her property while I head out on this trip. And so that's what we're going to do. We're getting the bike all set up. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be heading out on a bike packing, stealth camping kind of trip. So I'm going to get this thing all packed up and ready to go. We're going to head out because there's another band of storms coming. So got to get this thing packed up so we don't get completely drenched before camp tonight. So far, since I got on the trail, it's been pretty nice. It hasn't really rained on me since I got on the trail. I've been riding for, I guess, about a mile and a half or 2 miles now, and I ran across this little swamp here. It's really cool. There's a lot of wildlife here. Kind of kicking myself for not bringing my DSLR. But I wanted to do this all with the GoPro so it would be consistent, and with the rain and everything, the GoPro can handle the rain a lot better. So unfortunately, I'm not going to have a whole lot of real pretty zooms and you know, close-up shots or anything in this, but hopefully I'll still be able to get some good footage. Talk about your widow makers, right? been a little while since I've been on a bicycle. I can tell too. I've been wanting to do one of these trips for a long time. Need some more practice on the bike though, for sure. Whew, I'm gonna tell you, this is the first time I've been on a bike in over a year, and I can feel it. I've got some soreness going on. I actually have something going on that I really didn't anticipate, hadn't really put much thought into, but a while back I hurt my knee, and starting to feel that knee. I'm about roughly 4.5 miles from my truck right now, and we're kind of getting into the area that I thought I might be able to get set up for this camp. Now, as you can tell, even though it was raining earlier, it's hot now. I'm sweaty as could be. It's humid, you know, that's Florida for you. About this camping trip, you know, I've never really wanted to do a stealth type camping trip because I don't want people to think that I'm condoning breaking the rules. But you know, in certain situations, I'd say it's, you know, it's a necessary thing to do. If you were in a situation where you had to like take off, bug out, hide out, whatever you want to call it, stealth camping is going to be a skill you're going to have. So I thought I might run through a stealth camp with you, and being, you know, the whole park system and everything shut down right now, I can't really take you on a camping trip anyway without doing a stealth camp. So you know what, we're going to do it. I'm going to show you what to do, what not to do, and then we'll go through a couple things that I've got with me. Just see if we can have us a good time tonight. Now, I'd like to find somewhere that's got a little bit of water in it, that has some fish. I brought some bait and some line and some hooks. I didn't bring a fishing pole, but we can improvise one of those. So I've got a couple of places in mind. We're kind of in that area, but right now I just wanted to sit down, take a break, let my knee rest and my butt rest. You know, a big boy like me hopping on that bike again after about a year and just taking off, that was a pretty tall order. I've always been one to just make rash decisions and take off like that. So for the good or the bad, we're out here. I think it's going to be good though. You know, it's funny, when I was a kid, I could hop on a bike and ride for hell all day. Leave in the morning, not come back till it's almost dark. Ride all day, me and my buddies. Now I put a few miles on the bike. Let's just say I'm out of shape. But, you know, you gotta start somewhere. And if I gotta start somewhere, why not take you guys with me? We're coming up on where I thought we might be able to pull this camp off. Hopefully here in just a second, I'll be able to show it to you. Yep, here we are. I knew we were getting close. Now, what are we looking for in a stealth camp type situation? Well, we're looking for an out of the way location. We're looking for somewhere that doesn't get traveled a lot. So as we're walking in, even though this is a little road going back up in here, there's no actual recent tire tracks. So that's a good sign, number one. Okay, so obviously, number two is going to be finding somewhere that is far enough off the track that you can get set up in a nice location, but also have ingress and egress, meaning you can get in and out pretty easy. Okay, so it's starting to sprinkle. I'm gonna have to find somewhere to get set up pretty quick here. Definitely. We're gonna have to find somewhere pretty quick. It's starting to come down. Okay, so having a little bit of a tough time finding a spot right here. This is the spot that I kind of picked out, but it's so overgrown under here, there's not a good place to camp unless I camp right on the trail here, which is not really a huge deal because this trail doesn't get used that much. It's overgrown most places, so it obviously doesn't get used that much, and I'm about probably 100 yards, 150 yards off of the paved trail. This is not exactly what I had in mind, so I'm going to keep looking, and if I can't find something else, I may have to just come back here. And sometimes you have to do that, you know, just kind of take what you can get. But there's other spots out there, and I still got enough daylight left, and the rain kind of went on past, so it sprinkled for a few minutes, but it felt good. I'm already wet with sweat, so it was cold, and so it felt good. So I'm gonna keep looking, see what else I can find, and like I said, if I can't find something else, I'll double back and come back here. Man, I wish you knew how much I hate seeing that sign. I freaking hate ticks. I have camped in places that I got completely eaten up by ticks. I hate them. See that guy right there? Right there. Black racer. Sitting there chilling. Well, this is not the most stealth location, but it's after 5. So the chances are of any patrols coming around here and checking be slim to none. And I could be out of here in the morning for sure by the time anybody would come hiking in here to look. It would be really cool to kind of get set up in here and maybe do a little stealth camp in here. I'm not sold on it yet because there's about 100% chance of getting eaten alive by mosquitoes in here also. It's a really neat little area right here though. It's an overlook and it's all a marsh swamp right there. It would be a cool place to do it though. Mosquitoes notwithstanding, of course. Now, we're under a fire ban. I know I'm still camping. Technically, I'm breaking the rules anyway, but I'm not going to go to the point of, you know, building a fire out here where you're not supposed to camp to start with. Taking a chance of somebody finding me, you know, stealth camping with a fire. No, thank you. That's not the kind of image I'm trying to put out there. So, I've got my little gas stove. I've got some mashed potatoes and chicken to do for dinner tonight. So that'll be kind of cool. So I wouldn't have to have a fire right here. Setting up the hammock wouldn't be the easiest thing in the world, but it could be done. Oh, look here. That's a freaking Lone Star tick. I got him off, but those guys are no good. I'm gonna have to really be careful now. What do you think? Should I camp here? Well, let's just see what kind of setup we can make. Okay, let's just see what we got in the pack. So for this trip, I went as light as I could, or as light as I thought I could anyway. I did bring some worms just in case we found somewhere to fish, but that didn't really work out. Got my little food bag. I've got my hammock tarp, my knife of course. I've got my EDC Altoids 10. There's some more sinkers for fishing. Got my little Sea to Summit towel. Gas container for cooking. And the rest is just a few pieces of clothing. Won't get into that. I'll probably change clothes here in a little while when I get cooled off a bit. I've got 2 water bottles. I've got a nesting cup to cook or make my coffee in the front pouch here. I've got my silky saw just in case I needed it. I've got a oat and honey Nature Valley granola bar. The rest of the stuff in here is just like batteries and stuff like that to charge my camera and my phone with. So that's basically all that's in this little pack here. And I've got a few more packs on the bike. I'll take you through those here in just a second. But first, I think I'm going to try to get that hammock set up. Okay, so I've got a little problem here. There's not quite enough room here to stretch out my tarp in a diamond configuration, and this hammock is longer than my regular hammock, so it won't work doing it in porch mode with this hammock. So I'm gonna have to try to improvise a way to make this thing work. So instead of using my ridge line, I'm actually gonna tie back on either end on these rails. So let's just see if we can get that to work. Now, I'm more than likely going to get eaten alive by yellow flies and mosquitoes tonight. But, as a matter of fact, yellow flies tear me up. But, whatever makes a good video for you guys. And I think this is going to be an awesome place to set up. So, anyway, whatever makes a good video, that's what we're going to do. And let's finish getting this tarp set up. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, I want to go through and show you what I have in these two packs on the front of the bike. So in this bottle container here, I have got my water purifier. I have a titanium spork. I've got my water bottle where I can boil water if I needed to. And then I have my cook pot and lid down there. Set this stuff aside. I'll be needing that in a minute anyway. Now in the front, I have my gas stove, and I have a little gas bottle. Now I brought another one just in case this one, I'm not sure exactly how much is in this one, but I brought another one just in case this one is too low to cook with. So that's what I've got in this kit right here. So that's basically water purification and cooking in this kit. Now, I'm not going to take everything out of this kit, but here I have a battery charger stored for the camera. And in there also is my leather gloves. I have strapped to the bottom of this my sleeping bag, which I may or may not need it tonight. I might just wrap up in it because of mosquitoes. I don't know, we'll see. I'm hoping after the sun goes down and it cools off some, the mosquitoes will die off. And they're actually not that bad right now, but we're kind of on the edge of running out of daylight. So they should be kicking off here pretty quick. And without a fire, that could be, you know, a nightmare. But so in this pocket I have toilet tissues, I have hand sanitizer. Don't tell anybody I got this, I don't want to get robbed. And then I've got my fire making supplies just in case. I've got my impregnated cotton balls and then a lighter. So I've got that in that kit. Or in that pocket, I mean. Now, in the front pocket, I've got some fishing gear and a headlamp. And the fishing gear is just minimal. It's line and hooks and sinkers and stuff. And now in the top pocket here, I've got a big hank of 1100 paracord in case I had to do something crazy. Now I've got my emergency stuff in here. I've got a emergency poncho in here, a Mylar blanket, my first aid kit, some extra batteries for the headlamp, stuff like that. So that's basically what I've got with me as far as a kit. Not exactly the lightest kit in the world, but being that I've never really done a stealth camp like this before, I wanted to make sure I was prepared, you know. I was a Boy Scout. Be prepared. So now I'm gonna go ahead. I think I've decided that I'm actually gonna just turn the bike upside down and put it on the back side there. That way the tires will be up instead of the bike laying down, and then I'll figure out how to tie the tarp up. But I think that's the goal for right now. Okay, so we're gonna walk out right now and kind of give this thing a look over from the outside perspective and see kind of how stealthy this setup really is. So let's go do that. Okay, so from the trail itself, you can't see anything from here. If you look down there real close, right down on the rail, you'll be able to see the Dr. Pepper down there, I think. But you can't really see anything but just a little bit of the tarp hanging out there. So if you were walking down the trail, you wouldn't really pay attention to that. So maybe you can see it a little better from here. Right down there you can just see. So that's a pretty good job from here. Now let's go out by a little further out by the edge of the trail and look down here and see if we can see anything. Okay, so as you can see, right here is the paved trail. Now if you look down there, you can just barely see the boardwalk going to where the camp is set up, and there's no way that you're going to be able to see that camp from this boardwalk, from this paved trail here. So as far as concealment, we are pretty well concealed. Now let me go show you why this setup is not good. So this setup is pretty good as far as being concealed. The chances that somebody's going to find me this late in the afternoon with that little bit. Uh-oh, there are people coming. I can hear them. Okay, so I'm going to get down here real quick and be quiet. I'm going to kind of hang out right here. I just heard some people talking. It sounds like they might be coming down the trail. What are the freaking chances of that? Almost 7 o'clock at night. No, I don't hear them. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna have to still be kind of careful and be quiet. Even though it is kind of late. I I guess people are still moving around a little bit. I'm kind of surprised by that after the rain today and everything. It's, you know, it's almost 7 o'clock. But anyway, what I started to say was the chances of being found off of this little bit of, you know, kind of area that's not concealed is fairly slim. But the biggest problem with this site here, the thing that I did wrong here, and I knew I was doing it wrong, but I did it for the sake of the video. There is one way in and one way out of this location. Now, in a stealth camping situation, that's not what you want. You want ingress and egress is the words I'm looking for. So ingress, a way to come in, and egress, I believe, is the word for the way to go out. So you want two different routes, at least two different routes, to be able to come in and leave your camp. So if you had a rogue animal or somebody come in the camp that was trying to hurt you, you wouldn't be just pinned into a cul-de-sac like I am right now. Like I said, I did this for the video, and I thought it would be kind of a cool location to shoot and, you know, to camp. So I may regret that because of the mosquitoes. But anyway, so that's the biggest downfall to this location, is the fact that it is one way in and one way out. And that's a huge problem in a stealth camping situation. Okay, so here is the setup. I've got the bike pushed back against the back wall. Got my hammock set up. We're pretty low to the tarp, but I think that's going to be okay. And as long as it doesn't, like, torrential downpour, we should be pretty good on the rain side of things. So I think we're pretty good right now for our setup. And now it's about time for us to start making dinner. I just thought about something else. Another major screw up that I made. I forgot my whiskey at home. I don't even have my little flask. That's gonna make for a long night. All I've got is a couple bottles of water and a little bit of Dr. Pepper left. But it's time to make dinner, so that'll be a little bit better. Let's get on that. I keep hearing an ATV go by. I doubt seriously that that could be some sort of legitimate patrol. So I'm not gonna worry about it. Alright. So here's my little stove. We're gonna have to be real careful because these rails are on a little bit of a slant, so the water will run off of them, which means that the water in here is gonna be on a little bit of a slant, obviously. So we're gonna have to be careful with the weight distribution so it doesn't kind of tip over off to the side. Okay, so we're gonna just do half of that thing of mashed potatoes. So we're gonna do 8 ounces of water. Let me show you what we got. I brought a few other snacks. I brought some beef jerky and things like that, but we're not gonna end up needing that. Straighten you up a little bit. There, that's probably better, huh? Okay, so for the chicken side of it, I've got this Tyson Premium chunk white chicken, fully cooked. So I've got some of that to go in there. And then I've got these, the baby red mashed potatoes, Idahoan. And these are pretty simple. For the whole thing, you want 2 cups of water. So for half of it, we're only going to do 1 cup of water. And then it's pretty simple. You get the water to a boil, remove it from the heat, and stir in your mashed potatoes, and cover it and let it set for a few minutes. So that's a good camping meal right there. Mashed potatoes has a lot of calories in it. Well, it's 120 calories actually. For the whole, no, 120 calories for a 1/4 cup dry. So if I do, wait a second, let me go back through this. So there's 240, there's 480 for the whole, 480 calories for the whole thing. So if I'm doing half of it, that's 240 calories. And then I'll do about half of this chicken, which will be about 100 calories. So 340 calories. It's not a big dinner, not for me especially, but 340 calories is not too bad for a meal. So we're gonna go ahead and get this ready to go. You could actually, no, that wouldn't work, never mind. I was gonna say something stupid. Imagine that. Okay, so 8 ounces. The nice thing about this cup is it does have the graduation marks on it for ounces or milliliters. So we're gonna go 8 ounces. Alright, let's get this thing going. So typically doesn't take long at all for this thing to get boiling. Hopefully I can get it to boil before anybody hears this thing running. I'll get back with you in a second. Now, another downfall to this location is I don't have anywhere to sit here. Now, I talked with you before about having, making sure you have somewhere to sit and how miserable it can be without it. Kind of wish I had somewhere to sit down right now. And I could sit down here on the ground, that wouldn't be a huge deal. And I may do that, but here in a little while I'll probably be getting in the hammock anyway, so it's not going to be that big a deal, but it's something to think about anyway. So I just saw something, a wild edible I want to show you. So a lot of you guys may not know this, but this plant here, this plant is called smilax. Smilax is very edible. It's basically like a wild asparagus is kind of how they call it. But you need to make sure that you can verify the plant before you try to eat it. So let me show you real quick how to verify it. This has 1 leaf and 2 tendrils coming off of one side of the plant there. See it? 1 leaf and 2 tendrils. Now if you go up the stalk, on the opposite side, it'll have another 1 leaf and 2 tendrils. That's how you know it's smilax. If it's the wrong plant, it will have leaves on one side and tendrils on the other side. directly across from each other. Another way that you can tell is this is very tender and it will snap just like that. That's how you can tell. The other is very kind of tough and stringy, but the Smilax is tender just like that and it'll snap. That's the one you want to eat. So I've got somebody coming by. They're going by out there on the thing. I can shut this thing off now. We're rolling boil. Okay, now we want to get our mashed potatoes in there, and I'm just gonna spoon what I think is about half of them in there. I think that's about half. Now, I'm gonna mix them up good. Guess I could take it off of there now, huh? So I'm gonna mix them up good. Before I cover it, I'm gonna put some chicken in there. Hot. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna let that set for a few minutes and it'll be ready to eat. Alright, now let's check this out, see if we got a good meal or not. The thing that I forgot, another thing that I forgot is cheese. I wanted to have some cheese in this. I forgot to bring some cheese. Not the end of the world, but would have been nice to put some cheese in there. But if you look, that should be a pretty good little dinner. Tastes good too. I typically don't really like those kind of chicken in a bag things. But it tastes good too. It's actually got enough salt in it already. So I'm gonna go ahead and sit down and eat this real quick. And I'm probably fixing to try to go live on Facebook, so hopefully that'll work out. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and eat this, and I'll catch back up with you before I hop in the hammock. Well, I just finished up with the Facebook live video. Had a good time on there. Appreciate you guys checking in and watching the video, and or the live, I mean. Starting to lose light here. I'm not gonna have a campfire or anything tonight, you know, to be kind of hanging out by. So I think since I'm losing light, I'm gonna finish eating my dinner, and I might go ahead and climb in this hammock and get ready for an early bedtime tonight. I brought the tablet with me, and I downloaded a couple of cool videos on there, and I've also got an audiobook downloaded on there that I might listen to too. So got to keep the volume down. After all, this is a stealth camp, and don't want to draw too much attention to myself, so I'll keep the volume down on that thing. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it for tonight, and I will see you guys in the morning. These deer are definitely not happy with me being here. They are running circles around this place. They are snorting and blowing at me. It's pretty funny. There's no way for me to show it to you, but it's pretty awesome. They are running all around me and just blowing and snorting. It's pretty cool. Hey guys, so I want to give you a little update here. I knew that this was going to be kind of rough. It wasn't the best place to set up a camp right here by the swamp. I knew that mosquitoes were going to be bad, and I mean, I even told you that I was probably going to get eaten alive by mosquitoes, but I've never ever seen mosquitoes that just completely ignore the mosquito wipes that I've used, and these mosquitoes absolutely pay it no attention. And I didn't bring my hammock with the bug net because it's considerably larger when packed down than this hammock, and I really didn't have a whole lot of room. So what I've been doing is I have actually sacrificed one of my coffee cups to use as a makeshift, I don't even know what you'd call it, fire pit or whatever, just a tiny little fire pit. But what I've been doing here, I don't know if you can even see it, is I have been let me get the light. What I've been doing is I've actually been putting moss in a cup and lighting the stove under it and letting it burn for just a little while and smoke the mosquitoes up, and then I can sleep for 45 minutes or so. That's how I'm making it through the night. I can sleep for 45 minutes or so after I smoke them, and then they'll slowly start coming back, and then I have to wake back up and light it back up for a few minutes. So I'll make it through it tonight, and I know better than to even try something like this again. Okay, so the mosquitoes are currently at bay again. I'm gonna lay back down to see if I can't get some more sleep. Hey, good morning guys. Well, we made it through the night. Really don't know how. It's the worst night I've had ever, I think, camping. You can see the mosquitoes are still horrible right here. At some point last night, I got up and put on this little rain shirt that I've got because it was long sleeve and they couldn't bite through the sleeves. I got a little sleep last night, about 30-45 minutes at a time, and I'll tell you more about that here in a little while. But right now I think we're going to get packed up and get heading out and move away from this swamp. I don't know if I'm gonna make coffee this morning or not. My little canister for my stove doesn't seem to be working too well, and I ran out of my small one sometime this morning. I'll tell you about that too here in just a little while. But for right now, I think we're gonna go ahead and get this thing packed up so we can get away from this swamp, because I'm sick of getting eaten by mosquitoes. So that's what we're gonna do, get this thing packed up. Okay, so last night I had, a really tough time. The mosquitoes absolutely paid zero attention to the mosquito spray, or actually the mosquito wipes that I was using. And you know, I've never had that before. Normally I can wipe down with those things pretty good, and it will pretty much keep the mosquitoes off of you. So that's my own fault. You know, things just happen sometimes. So um, all in all, I'm still happy with being able to do this. You know, made it through the night, and but I want to show you what I did to kind of help me get through that. So I sacrificed one of my coffee cups, which it'll still clean out and it'll be fine. But what I did was last night I went around and gathered up some of the live Spanish moss, not the dead stuff, the live stuff, and I stuffed it in this cup, and I would turn on my little stove and let it kind of basically made a smudge pot. And that's the word I was looking for last night, a smudge pot. So I just basically let it smolder and smoke, and I didn't want to leave that thing running while I was asleep, so I would let it smolder and smoke for a few minutes, and then I could get 30 or 45 minutes of sleep, and then I would have to wake up, light it, and do it again. And then I also went and I found right down there was a little pine tree, and it had some little fresh pieces on it. And so I went ahead and got some of those and put in there, and that really seemed to help too. But all I needed was just to get some smoke going in there, and so that kind of helped me get through the night. I still feel like one big mosquito bite right now, but I'm gonna get these bags packed up and on the bike, and then we're gonna get on out of here. But I just wanted to show you guys kind of how I improvised my way through the night, and it wasn't completely maddening, not completely, but anyway, I was able to make it through the night just by improvising a way around those mosquitoes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of this stuff put away and packed on the bike, and then we're gonna get on the trail. I guess while I'm getting everything packed up, I'll give this thing a shot again. It doesn't want to work very well. It says, and I didn't really realize it, but it says it's a blended fuel, and maybe that's what the difference is. I don't know, but it definitely doesn't work like my normal fuel does. So I'm gonna set this thing back up and see if I can get some coffee going. Now last night I had to take this thing off, all the way off, put it back on, and it worked. Now the striker's not gonna work. That's pretty precarious. Now I've found that these little coffee filter packs, these are just about the right size for 16 ounces of water. Okay, so this morning for my breakfast, I'm gonna have this crunchy oat and honey Nature Valley granola bar, and tell you what I like to do with them. I really like these granola bars. I typically only have them if I go camping, though. I don't really eat them all the time, but I really like them. What I like to do with it, like a donut or something, I like to dip it in my coffee. Okay, so I kind of want to recap a little bit. And let's think about this. So we were planning on doing a bike packing stealth camp. Got it done. Could I have made better decisions? Maybe. Would it have been as much fun? Might have been more, maybe less. I don't know. What could I have done differently? Okay, so my pack. I'm just using this cheap Ozark Trail pack. It's super light. The pack it's a day pack. But I used it for this because I didn't want to bring anything super big or heavy on the bike. Could I have packed lighter? I could have. I could have probably not brought a change of clothes. But I'm glad I had that little rain jacket thing, because that helped me with the mosquitoes last night. But I could have just got water somewhere and filtered it without having to bring all the water. I could have traded a few things out maybe and brought my mosquito or my hammock with the mosquito net. That might have been a valuable trade, but I didn't do it. I went light with the other one because it's smaller. So this pack may not have been the right choice, but it's what I had. I went with it. The packs on my bike, are those the right packs for this kind of trip? No, they're not. They're not bike packing packs. Now the one pack is a handlebar bag, but if I had, I think they're called panniers. If I had bags on the bike itself where I could store more things in there, I could have made a more comfortable trip for sure. But here's the thing. I didn't have the right pack. I didn't have the right bags for my bike. Did I just stay home? No. I took what I had, I made it work, and I went out on an adventure. Sometimes it's not about buying all the fancy gear. It's about making the gear you have work. So, if there's a takeaway from this whole trip, is that sometimes you can just make what you have work. It may not be the most comfortable trip, but it works. I've had a really good trip, bar the mosquitoes. It's, we all know, I've talked about them 100 times now. Still fighting them right here. Anyway, barring the mosquitoes, I had a really good time. So I'm gonna get back on this trail and head back to the truck now. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, like the videos, share them with your friends, and leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've ever done anything like this. You know, it's been a fun trip. So I appreciate you guys watching again, and I'll see you next time.